Sure, I'm Eddwina Bright. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, but I've been living in New York City for about 11 years now. And I'm a wife and mother of two daughters, Madison and Melody. And recently, well, professionally, I work in financial services. And recently, I obtained my MBA from Columbia. And one of my hobbies is I love to travel. I would say, some of the most pointed parts are just going through some of these experiences in life, first day of school, first dentist appointment, things like that. But one element that really stands out, at least I'll maybe do one for each child. So with Madison, when she was around 2, we took a family trip to Hawaii. So there were 13 of us, and we got a huge house, and she had a great time. And it's like this thinking about that, and it's like, okay, she was 2 when she went to Hawaii. I was 30 when I went to Hawaii. And that trip really made me understand that her life will be very different. And I have to be very intentional about the lessons that I teach her and about what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and how to stay motivated, and all of those things kind of wrapped up into one just family trip to Hawaii. That was a really big moment for me because I was like, okay, we're able to provide a certain lifestyle and certain experiences that we didn't have growing up. So how do we leverage that and harness it in a positive way and allow it to, like I said, help motivate her to greatness? With Melody, I think, having her a month before I graduated from Columbia with my MBA I wasn't even mentally processing it. I walked across the stage a month after I gave birth to my second child, and she was at graduation. And it was just an incredible feeling. I don't know what I was more proud of, like just having the baby and still accomplishing this great academic feat, or like the academic feat itself. But having my children there and having them witness that was a very great point in my life. And then I'd say thirdly, sometimes I just stare at them. And Madison's always like, what are you looking at? And I'm just like, you're just, a little blessing, a miracle, in my image. I just want to protect them and make sure they have good lives and I said protect them already, sorry. Love them and hold them. And I just catch these moments where I stare in wonder and amazement, and I know they think I'm a weirdo, but I love it. Publicly? I try to figure out a way to summarize our parenting style. Okay, one thing that really rings true is we never do baby talk. We talk to our children as if they're adults. And I think that we've seen Madison's vocabulary flourish because of that. And her emotional intelligence as well is really outstanding, I think, because of that. We are definitely explorers. We like to travel and take them to experience the world and learn about the world. What else? We like fun and play, but I recognize that there is a sense of discipline that needs to be introduced for sure. But we don't do corporal punishment or anything like that. I think we're just having fun and just trying to figure it out as we go along. But we focus a lot on experiences and traveling with them and taking them to museums and introducing, age appropriate things about the world. For example, with Madison, when I do her hair, I say, don't you love your crown? Don't you love your hair? It's beautiful. Don't you love being tall? Oh my gosh, your height is just amazing. So it's just things like that. Oh, social support is really important with parenting, especially if you don't have a lot of, family or other organic or another organic support system nearby. All of my friends know that the expectation is that they babysit. That's just, I expect them to do that, right? They also know that Madison could call them and ask for a play date. She could say, I want to play, and you're my friend. So I think that having my children kind of a part of my full life is something that I embrace. Growing up, It's, children are seen, you do not speak, stay out of grown folks' business, you don't talk back. You're not really a part of the life of your parents until you're much older. And I think maybe with us being in New York and kind of, having all of our family in Baltimore, I've taken a different approach to that. So, she comes to brunch with me and my friends. She's, gone to dinner, all kinds of things, vacations. And I think it's important to expose children to different experiences. But you also have to kind of maintain that it's age appropriate. So I still tell her to say, excuse me, and please and thank you, and say Mr. and Miss. And it drives me nuts when people say, no, don't call me Miss Jackson. And I'm like, I'm trying to teach her manners here. So to answer the question, I think social support is really important. I think you have to activate your support system to have a better experience for everyone involved. And I think a lot of times too, when people are friends to people that have kids, they don't know what the boundaries are. They don't know really how to interact. So I think you have to empower your social network to help you. You have to tell them it's okay. It's okay for you to wipe my child's nose. It's okay for you to change the diaper. It's okay for you to walk them to the park, take them for ice cream, because you want people to feel like they're part of your village. So the awareness of kind of current events, being a woman, and being hypersensitive to raising two daughters is always at the top of mind. So I would kind of summarize today in the world, we have women, a lot of women coming into their own. We have the Me Too movement. We're fighting for parity. We're fighting for equality. These are the things I want my daughters to see and internalize. And I think that it's really important that I carry myself in a way that they can aspire to and they can look up to. I think about some of my friends, and you think about some of the trauma that women go through when they're young, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and I rack my brain all the time and think about, okay, I haven't been in those kinds of situations, but what is it about me that has allowed me not to be victimized? And that's something I can't define. So that's been hard, and I'm very hypersensitive to that, is whatever it takes for us to do so that they won't be victimized in any way, we have to do it. I've had a conversation with my husband about toxic masculinity, and I'm like, you're raising two daughters. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it amongst your friends? You want our girls to look at your friends as their uncles and as role models, so the behavior that they have that degrades women, are you going to check them on that? So that's something, it's about cultivating kind of a world that we want them to be confident, we want them to respect themselves, love themselves, we want them to have dignity, and also see the shortcomings of the world, but not internalize them. So that's something that's, I guess, really important to us. The pressure that I put on my husband of ensuring that he always has a good relationship with our daughters is something that I'm very focused on. I remember he upset Madison one night. I can't even remember the situation. She probably didn't want to go to bed or something. I don't know. But he was a little more firm than I think was appropriate. And so we had to talk about it. And I said, you owe her an apology. The situation that was uncalled. Your response was uncalled for. It was too much. She's 4. We have to kind of always remember that. And, we went back and forth about it. I don't think he necessarily agreed with me at first. But I said, look, you have to put the perspective of the child. She feels that you did too much, and I agree. And I think that it costs you nothing to apologize, and it helps to further the relationship in her eyes versus you feeling like you're right. And the next morning he apologized, and you could feel her energy, the look on her face that she appreciated it. And maybe she can't really articulate why she appreciated it, but those are the kinds of things that I think, growing up, our parents didn't apologize to us. It's whatever, you do what they say. And I think we're trying to be much more cerebral and have a lot more emotional connection to being parents. And so those are the kinds of things that, we focus on ensuring that we break the cycle. I don't know where that is. That's my husband's name. I don't know where that is. No, he's